Okay, so I think we're gonna put this on YouTube. So, you know, maybe say hi to YouTube if you want. But here we are. This is the final finished theme redeem maze, where every room is a different number of tiles chosen randomly by the bot. Every room is between 10 and 50 tiles. Every room is a different theme chosen by someone in chat. And every room is either cozy or chaotic, and sometimes both. Is that a good intro? We're gonna go through and tour the whole thing, tour all 58 themes. It's 2 stories, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. All right, so the very first theme that started us off with this build was a board game room. And honestly, I think that this was a really lovely way to start because it had a certain amount. It was like a pretty small room. It had the entry point. It had some board games. It was really cozy. I think the request included like snacks and games and drinks. There used to be a popcorn maker, and I think it got eaten at some point, but pretend there's popcorn in here. Like and follow and all that good stuff. 10 out of 10 would game here, yeah. So we started here, and it went steadily downhill. So every room has an entry point into the room, and then the next door gives you a hint about what's behind the next door into the next room. So the next theme was a sad beige baby room with pops of blue. And it's just a room for a sad beige baby. The next room was pink hearts and flowers. And we decided to make a really pink girly pop bathroom with our very favorite floral toilet paper. And I think if I remember correctly, from here on out, it gets really bizarre. The next theme was simply monsters. So we created a bit of a storybook theme and tried to make it feel like we're inside the forest filled with all the different monsters. And I think this was one of the first ones in this build that really was kind of unhinged. The next theme was purple. So we made a purple cat room. And all nice things for cats to hang out and like look out the window and such. Honestly, I think Gizmo and Gimmo would really like it here. The next theme was, quote, the most cursed room you've ever made. So behind this very scary door, you know, I think 10 out of 10 would cat here. You know, it's just all of the most cursed things in the game, as well as a bit of a narrative. Of course, our peen painting. And, you know, just really unpleasant things. I think we were inspired by our horror game stream at that time. This is, of course, the cupcake machine. And this is where all these little creatures are born from the cupcake machine. And then there's a sized up baby Yoda, who, by the way, is peering through at the sad beige baby room. Pretty creepy. We chose all of the worst wallpapers. We made it very stained. And we decided that you could sit on the splinter butt toilet while staring at yourself, carpeted, of course, and showering right over it. And of course, baby toilet. So, you know. Oh, and there's also always holiday music playing at all times. Peering Baby Yoda, so close but so far away from your take on it. So yeah, you know, like there's a lot. The baby in the toilet is because of, what's that game we played? I can't remember what it was called. Observation Duty. There was a baby in a toilet in Observation Duty, so, you know. Oh, and of course things are not aligned properly. That was also part of it. So yeah, and I think this is the most cursed build we've ever built. I don't think anything has been more cursed since or before. But a nice palette cleanser. The next theme was an indoor, nope, that's wrong. The next theme was a planty coffee shop. So we just built a very cute, cozy coffee shop, a nice little palette cleanser. There's even like a little bagel and coffee mug, etc. The following theme was an indoor playground with lots of toys. So tried to make it cozy. Never really build kid rooms, but I think that was it was pretty fun. Fun little challenge. The next room was a rustic adventurer's room. So tried to, you know, channel Indiana Jones-esque vibes. All the various pillaged treasures and treasure map stuff. The little campfire vibe. And all the various things that they, you know, need to plan their next adventure. The next theme was frogs in outer space. So welcome to outer space. There was a spaceship carrying science frogs, and the hatch opened, and all of the frogs are now floating in space forever. This was, I don't remember whose theme this was, but it really changed the way we approach themes for the rest of our lives. And I am honestly really, really proud of this one. I feel like I tried really hard. We did use tulle. Specifically, we kind of framed out these like big space pictures to try to make it look like, you know, what was going on in space. And then, yeah, had things floating and rotating and everything. Couldn't have done it without tulle. The next theme was a goth and emo princess tower with black and red art. And we came up with an idea that we had two vampire sisters, each with sort of their own little bit of a vibe. And then this is the bedroom that they share. And of course, they had a little Vlad altar for, you know, romantic Vlad feelings. The next theme was an indoor Zen meditation garden with lots of vegetation and Japanese feels. So I think it was quite a lot of tiles. So we had space to do sort of this little like entryway where you know, change into a robe and stuff. And then this indoor Zen garden with all the indoor waterfalls and the sand, the blue sky. The next one I think is my very favorite theme of all. The theme was an ode to bread. And we ended up building this really cute bakery. And what was really lucky was the way it fell when we were doing the build. It had like outdoor space. So we sort of built it out. So on the outside, we made it look like an ordering window, which I thought was really fun. Romantic Vlad feelings. I stand by it. So the ode to bread, I think I remember being so nervous about, but I feel like I think it really worked out nicely for us. The next theme was the captain's quarters. So we created the inside of a ship. And my favorite detail is making the little boats along the map. Tulle played into this a lot for obvious reasons. And then that's the captain. And this is his quarters. And of course, he has lots of wine in his room for some reason. I like the ordering window too. The next theme was a summer barbecue pool party. So we built a little, I tried to make it look like it was outdoors. The pool and a little space for tanning. And of all the things you need at a backyard pool party, barbecue, guitar, drinks, pizza. And what was kind of fun is because it was meant to be outdoors, we were able to put a window to look into a different room. It worked out really well, as you'll see when we get there. So this is our little outdoor backyard pool party. The next one I loved. This is the ultimate sleepover room. And this is what I wished my room looked like when I was in high school. And we used the fun sleeping bags. And obviously they have a lot of good clutter. And they're playing Dream Phone. And there's pizza. And they're just having a lovely time. You can also kind of see when new packs were coming out, because we tried to use like new packs as they were coming out. So I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I thought this one was really fun. Next up. Oh yeah, this one almost killed me. This one was the upside down spooky pumpkin room. And this one relied heavily on tulle, as I'm sure you can see. This one was stressful. This one was very stressful. And if I remember correctly, when we got this theme, you could not yet paint ceilings. And we went back in and painted the ceiling after the fact, because before the ceiling was obviously white. I am really impressed with how this one turned out, though. I had never before built anything upside down. And I think, you know what? I think it was honestly kind of iconic. The next one was very silly. It was such a good theme. It was a 90s-esque laser tag, but we only had 11 tiles. So I tried to make this as 90s as possible with the little laser guns and the little barriers and stuff. But with 11 tiles, it was pretty hard to make laser tag. Yes, that was your friend's room. I remember that. I'm really impressed with what we were able to achieve, though, for this. And, like, the carpet really, like, brings the whole thing together, I think. The next room, I think, was so fun. Oh, hi, hello, new friend. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. The next room was the Spooky Supernatural Murder Forest. And we came up with a whole story for this room. So you can see that there was, like, obviously some grave robbing going on. They were sort of digging things up. They were digging up gold. But there's also, you know, some miscellaneous, some bones and things. And obviously they never made it out alive. And then if you look in the water, there's something down there. There's also a lot of, like, fish bones everywhere. So, yeah, something in the water meant that these grave robbers never got to achieve their grave robbing goals. I really enjoyed this room too. The next one was, quote, like pride barfed all over the room. And we decided to do a little pride shop. So you can get everything you need for Pride Month. All the flags, colorful nail polish, pride decorations. So this one was pretty fun. We've done a lot of different pride themed rooms over the years, but this one I think is maybe one of my favorites. The next room was 1970s avocado green bathroom, and we had so many tiles to use. We rolled so high. So we ended up putting in a fireplace and a bar. And, you know, this is this really a really extravagant bathroom. I think it all worked out though. I'm pretty happy with how it came all together. This room was the quote, every item you hate in The Sims. So this was our little workshop storage room of all of my least favorite items up until that point in The Sims. So some things that I think are just ugly, some things that I think just don't work the way they're supposed to work, things with bad textures, this broken cabinet that the colors are always wrong. This room was very therapeutic. The worst table, this one, case in point. Hi Jay, quietly hi, hello back. The next theme was Y2K Maximalist. So we did Y2K Maximalist teen bedroom. That is honestly a little similar to the sleepover room, but I'm still happy with how it turned out. And it was really fun because this is where we had the window looking out into the backyard. So just a happy accident. Just a happy accident. We had no way of knowing. So a real Y2K style room. Yet another scary door. On the other side of this door was an over-the-top disgusting room. So something really bad is happening in here, and it's probably best we don't ask too many questions. Definitely some miscellaneous things. There's knives, there's handcuffs, there's stains, there's bones, there's lots of knives. Something bad is happening in this room, and honestly, it's none of our business. Next up was the zebra in space room, and we decided to make this like a fancy spaceship that was really zebra themed. So you come in through the portal and you can sit and you can read books about space. You can have a lovely dinner. You can sleep in your luxurious pods. You can communicate with things back on Earth. And you can look out the window at the beautiful solar system. And also there's maybe aliens. There's maybe aliens in space. Your internet went out. A scary movie was filmed there. No kidding. So this was Zebras in Space. There's a bookcase that's a secret bookcase, and through the secret bookcase is a hidden speakeasy, or specifically a sultry speakeasy. So there's just like a little like place where people do music, perform, the bar. I thought it was very sultry in here. Through the doors behind, we ended up in the desert. And it took us a long time, but we tried to get help. But unfortunately, we didn't make it. So their water ran out, their power ran out, and the sun was high. Unfortunately, if they had managed to get a little bit further, they would have made it to the next room, which was simply taco. So we made a little taco restaurant. The colorway is meant to look like the fillings of a taco. And of course, every table has a taco ready to go on it. I did place all the rocks. So here's our cute little taco room. The final room on this floor was actually decided by chat. And it was the Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House. So it used to be Barbie, but then obviously Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House took over. And I guess Barbie had recently come out, and that's why we're all thinking about it still. So this is what's going on in the Mojo Dojo Casa House. So that was the first floor. Upstairs, I guess technically this one kind of counts. I don't remember why, but we did a hall of mirrors. and there's mirrors everywhere. I don't remember why. Chat chose it. No memories whatsoever. The next theme was the Scandinavian themed spa hotel. So we did a beautiful little spa room, and you could come and get, a massage or a, pedicure, have a little shower. The next theme was the sunflower room or sunflower power. So we made it as sunflowery as possible. Thanks, Jay. Yeah, all the mirrors. I don't remember why, Yama. Barbie came out in July 2023. I wonder when we started it. I mean, we've been doing these for a long time. This is our 6th one. So, we've been doing lots of themes for many years. The next theme was green, all green, everything green. So we made a very green garden. That was pretty fun. And I liked any time we're like around the edge so we have windows. I think windows are fun. So we did a very green garden. Oh, I love the next theme. The next theme was a mermaid room, aka a mermaid, like, magician. So this one is actually underwater. So this whole room is completely meant to be submerged underwater. So there's, some fish, there's coral. And I think it looks really cool and fun underwater. The next room is the spellcaster's study with moon themes. So they can look out at the moon. And we gave them all the moon stuff and made it like slightly magical in here. I think it turned out pretty well. I think it's pretty cute in here. The next room, I don't know if you're prepared for. Honestly, maybe we let the room speak for itself. This is the haunted doll room. They're doing something in here, but it's honestly none of our business. Moving right along. Ugh. Moving right along. We have the kitty cafe. And the cats can do yoga. I guess the people can do yoga too if they want to. Next up, this one was Space Witch. And we did like a teenage witch kind of vibe. But she is obsessed with space. So she has a lot of space art. And I thought that was kind of a fun version. The next room, I forgot about this one. It was fire. The bottom of a volcano. So this is what's at the bottom of a volcano. And there's some extra flames and also a fire extinguisher just in case. And that's the guy who lives here. So yes, we're at the bottom of a volcano. The next one was Blind's bedroom. Blind, our lovely friend and mod. And we all know that Blind has a million screens, subsists off of coffee and waffles. If Blind has to leave his house, he, puts on his little robot suit. There's his band hammer. There's his cocktails. Occasionally he has to power down, but that's his USB that keeps him powered. And there's his modding trophies for being a very good mod. So yeah, honestly, I mean, he just sent me a picture of his home, so I can't really take credit for this. Pretty accurate, I think. Next up, hilariously, was a lounge room for the mods. And so this is where we keep the mods in between streams. But listen, I'm benevolent. They can see the sunlight. They can see the grass even if they can't touch it. There's lots of cozy places for them. They have the peen painting, of course, because that's how they know where they are. They have activities. They have cross stitch. They have tea. They have games. There's all their mod swords. I've given them wine and punch. There's their band hammers. There's some, Gizmo and Gimlet art. There's books. There's coffee and popcorn. And there's the shrine. They have to light candles of me and look at the bread, obviously. That is my old profile picture. A 10 out of 10 would mod. So yeah, this is just, a really good lounge for the mods. I'm just very kind, I think. What else would you need? Listen, I don't ask for much. I just ask for bread sacrifices. Just a little shrine, just so they know what they're doing here. I mean, I don't know, it's pretty cozy. I've not had any complaints. The next room is a fall harvest kitchen. So we made like a really cozy kitchen with fall colors and all the pumpkins you could ever want. I just think it turned out really cute in here. Oh, I love the next room. The next room is a soulless corporate office. And as you can see, it is very soulless. But it was really fun because we came up with personas for everyone's desks. So this is the programming guy who just drinks a lot of energy drinks. This is the little girly pop who has a lot of creature comforts. Like a pillow and a rug and a space heater. All like various makeup and self-care things. This was the water cooler that we made, and I'm really proud of it. This is the gym bro who has replaced their chair with one of those balls. There's their raw chicken and all their protein powder, because I assume bros eat a lot of raw chicken. All their sports stuff. And then the final person is the cat lover who secretly has a cat under her desk at work. Just, hiding a little cat. Medicine ball, there we go. Psyched! Hello! How are you, sweet friend? Fun fact, each of us mods has a replica of that shrine IRL. It's one of the requirements. I mean, yeah, you have to read the fine print, obviously. Oh yeah, and then they have cameras watching their every move because it's a soulless corporate office. I really enjoyed this one. It was fun. Next up is the Wicked Magic Users room. So just like really normal stuff happening here. Really, it's really fine, I think. If you think that there's a gnome, little werewolf gnome trapped in a cage with some raw steak, I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a little shrine with a debug baby between friends. I think it's fine in here. I think it's totally normal. Next up was simply an ode to Bob Pancakes. So of course we created the Bob Pancakes Museum with his robe, his signature robe, with a picture of his wedding day. Pancake Roomba. The man, the myth, the pancake. As well as a display of everything required to make pancakes. Flour, sugar, milk, eggs, a bowl and a spoon. I really like this one. Shopaholic's Closet is the next theme. So obviously, they've bought a lot of stuff. This one was really fun. I enjoyed this one. Nice little shopaholic closet. The next one, we have to go through a doggy door because the next theme is the doghouse. So now we're inside the doghouse, and the dog has ripped open a chew toy. There's their bone, their ball, their fur ball. They pooped in here. So, you know, inside a doghouse. And following that theme, the next one was inside a purse. So we are inside the bottom of a purse. The little polka dots are the lining of the purse. There's, you know, wipes and a snack, lip balm, keys, phone, date book, sunscreen, a lighter, glasses. You had pancakes for dinner? Oh, I'm jealous. This one stressed me out. Oh, there's crumbs. But, I mean, it turned out pretty well once we figured out how to do it. This one, I think, maybe challenged me the most. Probably more so than the frogs in space. It was hard. I mean, like, it was just to scale everything up in a way that made sense and make it look like the inside of a purse. How do you even do that? The next one is very niche. The next one was Taskmaster and Ghosts UK. So we tried to make it look like Taskmaster and all the prize tasks, but have each prize task represent one of the characters on Ghosts UK. So that one was pretty fun. If you've seen the shows, hopefully you recognize all the references. I'm proud of this one too. The next one is an anime studio. So people who write, direct, animate anime. There's like the little voiceover booth, photography studio, the art studio space. Thought this one was fun. Oh, this one I really struggled with. It was also, I think, maybe exactly 10 tiles. This one was Hunger Games, and I've never seen Hunger Games, so chat had to tell me about it. This is also the one that gave us the rule that I'm not going to do references to things, especially if I don't know the references. But chat tells me that this is kind of right. Multiple screens, a couple of things that chat told me are part of the game, or part of the films. I read the first book a long time ago, and that was the only experience I've had with Hunger Games. So I don't know if this is right or wrong, but the idea was it was like the rich people watching the Hunger Games from their like elite little space. So that's what we did for that one. Don't know if I was right or wrong. The next theme was goth, gay, redneck. So this one was fun. It was pretty random, but I enjoyed it. The next one was ultimate horse person. So we made a room for horse girls who just love horses and horse riding. And they're just super obsessed with horses. I forgot about this one. This one was fun. Oh yeah, and there's some horse poop in the corner just to make it extra realistic. Yeah, in case I've made some rules because of you. It's true. The next one I think is really funny. It was the the FBI, I almost said FPSI, the FBI head office, but the newest hire is a teenage girly girl. So this is the FBI head office, but girly girl style, which I thought was fun. This would be a horse room girl, 100%. This is the one-star motel room that may be the scene of a recent crime. And as we were talking about earlier, I feel like 1 star is maybe a little too generous for this. There's some very mysterious things going on here that are best left unexplored. And yes, it's a toilet / shower. And that sink has a really horrifying leak. Legally Blonde meets FBI. Exactly. Inverse internet. In this world, FBI agents are teenage girls. They would do a better job. Let's be for real. So yeah, some mysterious things going on in here. And then as of today, we've added the 4 final rooms. This is the Nancy Droom, aka Nancy Drew's bedroom. That's how I chose to interpret the prompt anyway. So she has all of her, pictures and things from her various travels. There's a phone because Ned keeps calling her. There's some of her travel trunks. She has a board for solving mysteries. And, all of her photo equipment and stuff, all her detective things. I don't know, pretty happy with how it turned out. The next theme was simply cottagecore. So we decided to make just kind of little apothecary cottagey space. Didn't have a ton to go off of, so I don't know, I think it turned out pretty cute though. I forgot to paint the ceiling. I should paint the ceiling. The next room, the theme became Bake Off and Untitled Goose Game. So this is meant to be the Bake Off tent with, some workstations. It's bread week, space for a technical, they're filming, but then the goose has stolen lots of stuff and hid it in the corner. And finally, the very final build in this, or the final theme in this build, this was a dark room full of candles. So we have a very flammable room filled with a lot of candles. And I think we managed to tell a pretty good story in here with our final, 21 tiles. And that's it. That is officially the end of our 6th Theme Redeem room. Our first maze, every room, all 59, themes, a different number of tiles chosen randomly by the bot. Every room has an entrance and an exit, one going into the next. I feel like it turned out really well. So here's the question. What should we do next? We have done a hotel. We have done a motel. We've done a bed and breakfast. We've done dorm rooms. We've done apartment buildings. And now we've done the Theme Redeem maze, which maybe was my favorite one. I really liked the open-endedness of being able to kind of interpret the prompt in any way I wished and not have to conform to like a regular house. But I don't know, if we're going to do another one, what are we going to do? If you have any ideas, let me know. Done a Holiday Inn. I don't know that reference. Everyone always says that. I do not recognize that reference. Anyway, if you watch this on YouTube, thanks for watching. Goodbye.